Today we are going to review Campbell's Chunky Soups, and we have 4 of them. First one is Jazzy Jambalaya with chicken, sausage, and ham. And here is the nutritional information. Next one is chicken and sausage gumbo. And here's the nutritional information for this one. Third one is Manhattan clam chowder. So normally you won't see this type of soup. You'll normally see the regular clam chowder, so this is new. And here's the nutritional facts. And finally, New England clam chowder. This normally you'll see in most soups. And here's the nutritional information for this one. So it's quite simple to cook these soups. The directions say just cook on the pot and do not add any water, or you can microwave it. So we'll cook on the stove. So you want to tear off the cap and then just pour your soup into the pan. And then get your spoon and make sure all the ingredients are evenly mixed throughout the soup. So this is chunky soup. As you can see, it's very thick. And it's ready to eat. You basically have to just warm it up. So I'm using an induction stove, so this will heat up the soup a lot quicker than your regular gas stove. And when it boils, just stir it a little bit so it evenly heats. And your soup is boiling at this point, so it's done. And here's your cooked jambalaya soup. You can compare it to the can picture, the soup. As you can see, there's some sausage, rice, looks like ham. Let's see, where's the chicken? Oh, this piece looks like chicken. So it does look like jambalaya. So let's try a taste test. And this soup is quite tasty. The sausage and the chicken has a slight kick to it, slight spiciness to it. And the broth is pretty rich because you're not adding any water. The rice is actually pretty good. It's not mushy. It tastes like it's cooked perfectly. So I do recommend this for soup. And this is the Jazzy Jambalaya. Our next soup will be the chicken and sausage gumbo. And same with the first soup, you just take off the lid and it's an easy pop off lid. And here's the lid off and just pour it into your pot. And this jambalaya, or this sausage gumbo, looks kind of like the jambalaya. So let's cook it. And once again, you want to use a spoon to mix in the ingredients so it's all covered by the liquid. And like the first soup, because it's cooked in an induction oven or stovetop, it would heat up in about 90 seconds. And you can see the steam is starting to come off. And give your soup a stir. Make sure the heat is. And your soup is done, it's boiling. And this is your completed chicken and sausage gumbo. So look at the picture compared to the soup. So you can see it looks very similar to the jambalaya soup. You got some chunks of sausage, some chicken, looks like more vegetables. I think this is celery or okra, some rice, and looks like tomato. So let's give it a taste test. So the gumbo and the jambalaya, they both pretty much taste the same to me. I guess the only difference would be there's ham in the jambalaya and there's no ham in the gumbo. And it seems like maybe there's a few more vegetables in the jambalaya. But the flavor of the soup tastes exactly like the jambalaya versus the gumbo soup. And just like the jambalaya, the rice is tender, it's not mushy, it has a slight kick to it, spice, and then the sausage and the chicken, they're both tasty. So they would be the same soups to me, so but I would recommend either one. Okay, the third soup is the Manhattan clam chowder. And like the first two soups, you also have the peel away top. And here's the top off. And you're going to pour your soup into your pot. And start cooking. And then same thing with your other soups. You want to make sure all the ingredients are covered by the broth. me just stir it one more time. And your soup is boiling, so it's done. And this is the Manhattan clam chowder. Here's a picture of it, and here's a soup. So you can see there's some chunks of, looks like clams or bits of clam here. A lot of potato, carrots, tomato, celery, and the broth. So let's try a taste test. So the Manhattan clam chowder tastes more like vegetable soup instead of Manhattan clam chowder. You don't really taste any like seafood flavor or the clam flavor. The clams are kind of tough, and the potatoes are tender, and the vegetables are tender. But this does not taste like the usual Manhattan clam chowder that you get that would have a slight kick to it. So I'm not a big fan of this one, so I do not recommend it, but I guess you can try it. So it's the Manhattan clam chowder. And our final soup is the New England clam chowder. And with like the other three soups, you also have the pull off top. And here's the top off, and you'll see it's more cream based soup, so it'll be harder to get out of the can. So let's put it in the pot. And we'll start cooking. So this is cream based, so you don't really have to stir it like the other ones because all the ingredients kind of got flattened out. But stir it anyway, just to make sure everything is even. So as you can see, the soup's done, it's heating. So here's a clam chowder soup, and this is what it looks like compared to the soup. And this is very creamy, so it's not watery at all. You see some chunks of, looks like clam here, potato, looks like some herbs, and maybe some celery. So let's try a taste test. So the clam chowder is probably one of the better canned soups. It would taste very close to restaurant quality. If I didn't tell you that it was from a can, you would think it's from a restaurant. It's very creamy. The clams are more tender than the Manhattan clam chowder for some reason. And the potatoes are nice and soft and not mushy. There's still a slight bite to it. Also, you taste some of the looks like celery in it. So I definitely recommend the New England clam chowder soup from Chunky. Overall, I recommend the jambalaya soup because and the clam chowder, they're my favorite ones. So enjoy.